We all saw it posted yesterday all over our social media pages. Cassie filed a lawsuit in New York City against Diddy.
Yikes.
She's claiming she was stuck in a decade-long cycle of abuse.
Why doesn't the government want him to turn himself in? Because then they can't ask for detention. So they go and they arrest him. They arrest a guy who came to New York to turn himself in.
Did you ever think you'd hear a story involving Diddy and Steve Harvey together in a way that goes far beyond Hollywood parties? Well, hold on to your seat because, according to former bodyguard Gene Deal, Diddy and Steve Harvey shared much more than just the spotlight. Deal claims he caught Diddy and Steve Harvey having a personal moment behind closed doors. And it wasn't just any random encounter. Deal claims Diddy used these private moments to build connections that would later translate into career favors. This supposedly took place years ago when Harvey wasn't the daytime television star he is today, but still trying to make his mark in the entertainment world. So, what's the real story here? And what does this mean for both Diddy and Harvey's reputations?
This morning, watch how federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
Now, Gene Deal has gone on record several times, sharing his experiences as Diddy's bodyguard, and let's just say he's seen things most of us would only read about in the tabloids. According to Deal, Diddy was notorious for hosting exclusive, almost secretive parties where only the creme de la creme of Hollywood were invited. These weren't just glamorous get-togethers either. Deal describes them as dark and strange events where anything could happen.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
So, it's within the surreal setting that Deal claims to have witnessed the mogul, Diddy, engaging in a steamy encounter with Steve Harvey. And according to Deal, this was no one-time thing. He suggests that Diddy's connections with people like Harvey went far beyond friendship and crossed into territory that could seriously shake up their images. The juicy part. Deal alleges that Harvey wasn't just hanging around Diddy's parties for fun. Instead, Deal claims Diddy would often use his influence to get what he wanted, even if that meant demanding certain favors in exchange for career advancement. If Deal's allegations hold any truth, then Harvey might not just be a victim of unfortunate rumors, but a willing participant in a complex relationship.
That's not the issue. The issue is it seems as though he wants to kind of like exert power and dominance over people who don't really want it.
It's a classic Hollywood tale of ambition, power, and hidden agendas. But the question now is, just how deep does this go? How many other celebrities may have found themselves in a similar situation with Diddy?
And Stacey, you say today's indictment reads like a mob indictment. What was most shocking to you of all these allegations?
Yeah, the fact, Jake, that the government in this indictment presented evidence alleging that Sean Combs was running a criminal enterprise.
It all becomes even more intriguing when you consider Diddy's recent arrest, which has put a fresh spotlight on these long-standing rumors. Back in September 2024, Diddy was arrested in New York City, and the charges he's facing are more severe than anyone could have anticipated. Authorities have hit Diddy with accusations ranging from racketeering to forced exploitation, with allegations that suggest his influence extended far beyond the music industry and seeped into some very dark places. According to the Southern District of New York, the indictment includes charges related to conspiracy, coercion, and even the illegal transport of people across state lines for purposes that are far from innocent. Here's where it gets specific. The charges against Diddy aren't just sweeping accusations. They're tied to names, dates, and some very detailed events. One of the most shocking parts of this case involves his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who filed a lawsuit last year accusing him of years of abusive behavior. Cassie's allegations are deeply disturbing. She claimed that Diddy not only controlled her career, but her entire life, allegedly using threats and violence to keep her compliant.
That he controlled every aspect of her life. He is accused of frequently beating her and would hide her in hotel rooms for days until the bruising and signs of abuse were gone.
Her lawsuit went public in November 2023, and while it was settled out of court in just one day, it seemed to set off a domino effect that led to more people coming forward. Then there's the case of Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who filed a lawsuit earlier this year claiming that Diddy took things to an entirely different level. Jones, a former producer and videographer, alleged that Diddy pressured him into compromising situations under the guise of work obligations.
And a lot of the evidence, alleged evidence, that's been gathered in this case was from those two raids that were conducted on his personal homes in Miami and Los Angeles. And the indictment names the things seized that he allegedly made videos of these performances that have been named freak-offs.
According to Jones, Diddy orchestrated wild, often chaotic parties at his various properties where he would manipulate his guests into doing things they never agreed to. And that's not all Jones claims Diddy had hidden cameras set up throughout his homes, recording footage of unsuspecting guests. These tapes, Jones alleges, contain some highly compromising material featuring not only celebrities, but also major figures in politics and sports. With this type of evidence potentially in play, it's no wonder the case has drawn attention from federal investigators.
Now, so what is next? Is he going to be in jail in this facility until the trial begins? Is there a chance he could, get moved earlier than that?
As of this moment, as of this hour, as of today, yes. But of course, as I mentioned earlier, they're going to be appealing this thing next to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals to overturn the judge's order here to try and get him actually released.
So what does all this mean for Diddy's future? Well, the legal landscape isn't looking good for him. The U.S. Attorney Damian Williams has made it clear that the government intends to dig deep into Diddy's business dealings and personal life. When he was arrested, Williams mentioned that the charges could extend to include even more crimes. And let's not forget that Diddy's own team, in an unusual move, has suggested that he return to New York fully prepared for this outcome. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, has repeatedly emphasized that Diddy has been cooperating with authorities, but at this point, it seems the sheer weight of the allegations might be too much for even his best defense to counteract.
That clearly there is a criminal investigation underway and that they believe that there would be evidence of crimes in one or both of these homes.
In the wake of his arrest, Diddy's empire has started to crumble. Several high-profile companies, including those involved in his business ventures like Revolt TV, are scrambling to sever ties. And streaming platforms have quietly removed his content, signaling that even the most powerful in the industry are stepping away from the controversy. But it's not just about his business ventures. Diddy's name has been attached to some of the biggest scandals in hip-hop, and with each new revelation, it seems like the walls are closing in.
All lies will be exposed, that's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way.
It's easy to see why the recent developments have reignited the old rumors about Diddy's private life. For years, people have whispered about his alleged relationships with other men in the industry, with several celebrities making allusions to his behavior. And now, with Gene Deal's claims about Steve Harvey, those rumors are gaining a whole new level of intrigue. Was Harvey just one of many, or was his relationship with Diddy unique? Deal's account suggests that Harvey was indeed part of a larger network of celebrities who were caught up in Diddy's orbit, potentially having made compromises along the way to stay in the mogul's good graces. For years, Harvey's public life has been a carefully crafted story of redemption and resilience. From his early days as a struggling comedian to his rise as a household name, Harvey has always preached the value of hard work, humility, and faith. But how does this square with the possibility that he leveraged his relationship with Diddy to climb the ladder?
That this is the end of the Diddy story as we know it.
If he's been complicit in or even aware of Diddy's activities, then his whole career is built on a foundation of lies. It's not just a matter of public perception. It's a matter of trust. Audiences who looked up to him as a mentor and role model may now find themselves questioning everything he stands for. And the implications of this go beyond just Harvey's personal downfall. By aligning himself with Diddy, Harvey may have inadvertently tied himself to a criminal network that is now unraveling under the scrutiny of federal investigations. Diddy's influence in the industry was built not just on his musical talent, but on a complex system of connections that allegedly included everyone from celebrities to executives. Harvey, with his close proximity to Diddy, may find himself in the crosshairs as authorities continue to peel back the layers of this scandal. Moreover, it's worth noting that this isn't the first time Harvey has been accused of bending the truth for personal gain. Throughout his career, he's faced accusations of being less than honest, whether it was fabricating parts of his past or overstating his role in various ventures.
Stand-up comedian, entertainer, television host, family man. But most importantly, I happen to be a man of faith.
But this time, the stakes are much higher. If the allegations linking him to Diddy's crimes prove to be true, he could face more than just a damaged reputation. He could find himself answering serious legal questions as well. In light of all this, the public will have to reevaluate the Steve Harvey they thought they knew. Was he truly the self-made success story he claimed to be, or did he leverage unsavory connections to get to the top?
I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves.
The answers may be forthcoming as investigations into Diddy's activities continue. If there's anything to be learned from this unfolding saga, it's that sometimes the people who present themselves as the most trustworthy have the most to hide. And as this story continues to develop, one thing is certain. The fallout for Harvey could be just as devastating as it is for Diddy. For now, Harvey remains silent on the matter, perhaps hoping that the scandal will pass him by. But with each new revelation, it becomes increasingly likely that he'll have to answer some tough questions, not just from the public, but potentially from the authorities as well.
And that'll take you on a pathway to where you're going through all these gatekeepers who really ain't nobody in the big scheme of things on the totem pole of.
In the ongoing Diddy saga, each new revelation seems to deepen the intrigue surrounding both his personal life and his influential role within the hip-hop industry. His public image as a shrewd businessman and trailblazing music mogul is now shadowed by a flood of allegations that hint at a hidden culture of exploitation and control within the entertainment world. This controversy isn't just about Diddy. It's about an entire system of power that has allegedly been manipulated for personal gain, leaving countless victims in its wake.
Clients describe NBC as hell, as the worst conditions they've been in.
What makes this story particularly compelling is a number of insiders now coming forward to speak about their experiences. Over the years, various artists and industry figures have hinted at a darker side to hip-hop, one that includes covert relationships, veiled transactions, and a hierarchy where influence is currency. While many of these whispers remained just that, whispers, today they seem to be converging into a damning narrative centered on one man, Diddy.
Problems that the defense has brought up originally, but it seems like, just from reading this 14-page indictment, that there is enough physical evidence to perhaps get a conviction in this case. We shall see. These are allegations.
Take, for instance, Cat Williams, a comedian who has never shied away from controversy and confrontation. Williams has spoken on multiple occasions about the alleged exploitation he witnessed in the entertainment industry, using his platform to expose practices that many would prefer stay hidden. In one interview, he suggested that Diddy's famous parties were more than just social gatherings for the rich and famous. You go to a puff party, you understand that the expectations are different, Williams has said. You have to decide before you go whether you're willing to do what it takes to stay. His words imply that these events weren't just about networking, but about testing boundaries and loyalty, suggesting that attendance alone came with its own set of unspoken rules. Williams' account dovetails with the experiences of D1, a rapper who has openly discussed the pressure he felt while trying to navigate the industry. There were moments where I felt like the whole room was watching to see if I'd go along with it, D1 recounted during an interview. It's not just about talent. They want to know if you're willing to play by their rules. And those rules, let's just say, they're not what I expected when I got into this game. While D1 has been careful not to name specific individuals, his experiences speak to a culture within hip-hop where personal compliance can matter just as much, if not more, than musical ability.
If somebody came up to you personally trying to get you involved into, some homosexual activity.
Me personally, I definitely dealt with that, brother. Like I said, I done rapped about it and everything.
The implication here is that a select group of industry gatekeepers, Diddy among them, hold the keys to success, and that gaining access to those keys often involves more than just skill. D1's recollections reflect a widespread perception that the entertainment industry, particularly hip-hop, harbors a hidden set of expectations. And Diddy's long-standing influence makes him a figure of particular interest in this context.
It may be some truth to it. But this dude is raping grown men. That's crazy.
Yeah, we can laugh at it, but it sounds like it's true. I'm looking at it right now, and Diddy, he did go to prison, and he offered the inmate $2.3 million to settle the case. So
there have been whispers about Diddy's personal life for years, and they have long included speculations about his orientation. Some have argued that his alleged behavior, coupled with an industry that has historically been hostile to the LGBTQ community, reflects a world of hidden relationships and secret arrangements. Cat Williams has been one of the most vocal figures to hint at this, often discussing what he calls the hidden life of hip-hop. It's one thing to see people on stage or in a music video. Williams has said, but the real story is what happens when the cameras aren't rolling. That's when the deals are made. Williams isn't alone in these observations. There are many others, unnamed sources within the industry, who have painted similar pictures. They describe a scene where influence is wielded not just through business deals, but through personal favors. These sources allege that powerful figures like Diddy use their clout to exploit aspiring artists, who often feel they have no choice but to go along if they want to advance their careers. For those on the outside, the extent of these allegations might come as a shock, but for those who have navigated the labyrinth of hip-hop, these stories are disturbingly familiar.
I think in federal court and for these charges, they would say it's routine, but in the public realm, this is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really...
And these revelations come at a time when Diddy is already facing significant legal battles. The accusations against him are severe and could lead to a lifetime behind bars if he is found guilty. Diddy has been charged with racketeering conspiracy, as well as other serious offenses related to the alleged operation of a criminal enterprise. These charges are not just about financial crimes. They suggest a web of manipulation, control, and exploitation that stretches back years. According to the allegations, Diddy used his influence to create an environment where those around him were subject to his whims, pressured to meet demands that often crossed into personal and moral territories.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
In addition to Cassie Ventura and Rodney Jones, other alleged victims have come forward with troubling accounts of Diddy's behavior. One such individual, a former Bad Boy Records employee who wished to remain anonymous, has alleged that Diddy frequently fostered an atmosphere of intimidation, with employees feeling they were constantly on edge. The former employee claims that he, along with several others, was manipulated into attending after-hours gatherings that quickly turned into uncomfortable situations. It wasn't just about work, he stated, hinting at the blurred lines between Diddy's professional and personal worlds. According to his account, individuals within Diddy's circle often felt compelled to comply with his wishes, fearing that their careers would suffer if they did not participate in these unspoken expectations. The environment described here aligns with claims from other insiders who have shared similar experiences of feeling pressured and exploited.
You heard about Diddy law firm breaking ties with him and Miami Beach taking his day away?
Well, all the things that happened to Diddy, and he losing friends, companies, cities, city names, city girls.
Another accuser, a former artist who signed with Bad Boy Records in the late 2000s, has alleged that Diddy employed a strategy of emotional manipulation to maintain his influence. This artist, who also spoke under the condition of anonymity, described being drawn into what he believed to be a mentorship arrangement, only to find that Diddy exerted control over various aspects of his personal life, from relationships to finances. It was like he knew everything about you, he said, and he made you feel like you owed him for every step forward. The former artist claims that Diddy would offer opportunities only to withdraw them unexpectedly, leaving those around him in a state of constant uncertainty and dependence. These accounts collectively paint a picture of a manipulative environment where those in Diddy's orbit felt trapped, unable to escape his influence without jeopardizing their careers and reputations.
Now, if the government is going to mandate that they are responsible for your well-being, they have to ensure the safety of your well-being.
These charges against Diddy also touch on broader issues within hip-hop, where the LGBTQ community has often been marginalized and stigmatized. While hip-hop has historically been a place where hyper-masculine identities are celebrated, the industry's rumored hidden homosexual subculture stands in stark contrast to its public image. The allegations against Diddy suggest that this subculture has been exploited for personal gain, with young, ambitious artists being pressured into compromising situations as a means of advancing their careers. The industry's reputation for homophobia only heightens the sense of secrecy surrounding these practices, creating an environment where victims feel they have little recourse.
Gatekeepers in the music industry. Yeah, depending on what part of the industry you're trying to get access to, there's gatekeepers.
And it's not just about Diddy. While his case has brought these issues into the public eye, insiders suggest that the problem is much more widespread. The idea that influence in hip-hop is wielded through personal favors and covert arrangements is not new, but Diddy's situation has put these practices under a microscope. There are those who argue that this is just the beginning, and that as more people come forward, the industry will be forced to confront a culture that has long operated in the shadows.
So if you're trying to get signed to a major label, there's gatekeepers. If you're trying to get on certain media platforms to get interviewed.
So what does this mean for Diddy's future? The legal battles he faces are significant, and if the allegations are proven true, he could be looking at a lifetime in prison. His charges are severe enough that they carry the potential for decades behind bars. As of now, Diddy's legal team is fighting to clear his name, but the mountain of allegations and the number of allegations and the number of individuals coming forward suggest that his reputation may be irreparably damaged. Beyond the legal ramifications, there's also the question of what this means for the hip-hop industry itself. If Diddy, a man who has been at the top of his game for decades, can be brought down by these allegations, what does that say about the culture that allowed him to thrive? This scandal is forcing hip-hop to reckon with its past, its present, and the power dynamics that have long shaped its landscape. As more details emerge, it's likely that other powerful figures within the industry will be scrutinized as people question how deep this culture of exploitation truly runs.
And let me tell you something else. Not only should he have apologized to Cassie in that video, he should have apologized to all of the general public that he lied to.
In the end, Diddy's story is not just about one man. It's about a system that has enabled and protected individuals in positions of power. The fact that so many people have come forward with similar stories suggests that this isn't an isolated incident, but a symptom of a much larger problem within the entertainment world. As the legal system takes its course, the public will be watching closely, not just to see what happens to Diddy, but to see if the industry itself will finally be held accountable for the culture it has allowed to flourish.
Prosecutors going to glamorize a case. I've had cases, and I hadn't worked for Diddy for years. You understand? And the prosecutor going to say, Diddy former bodyguard. Get in the shootout. Diddy former bodyguard threatened a person's life or did this and did that.
For Diddy, the consequences could be life-altering. If convicted, he may face decades in prison, a fall from grace that will mark the end of a career that once seemed untouchable. But for hip-hop, the impact could be even greater. This scandal has the potential to change how the industry operates, forcing it to confront the hidden practices that have been ignored for too long. The question now is whether hip-hop can evolve, shedding its toxic elements and embracing a more ethical future, or whether it will continue to protect those in power at the expense of those who are most vulnerable. As the case against Diddy continues, one thing is clear. The world is watching, and the outcome could shape the future of hip-hop for years to come. So, with all of this unfolding, it raises some big questions. Do you think the hip-hop industry is going to change because of this scandal? Will these revelations finally hold powerful figures accountable for what goes on behind closed doors? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next video.